Hey everyone, welcome back to Guasto, your little alien with the sunglasses. In today's video, a user posted, parents are in their 40s. They treated me, 21 female, very badly and I cut them off. Now they want a new beginning. I'm sorry if this is long. I have a non-identical twin sister. The two of us couldn't be any more different. She is lucky enough to be very beautiful and tall and very good looking. She has always ticked every box on her looks. I wasn't so lucky. I wasn't on the beautiful side and was shorter. Right now I'm 5'1". She's 5'8". She was also better at making friends and being sociable, while I was always her awkward sister. Now I know I'm on the autism spectrum, but was only diagnosed 2 years ago. Parents never bothered with that. Now none of these make my parents horrible. What makes them horrible is the way they treated me and my sister. They always treated her like an angel and treated me like I'm a loser. This goes back as early as 3 to 4 years old. For every 20 pictures they have of her childhood, they maybe have 2 to 3 of mine. Literally, they have over 10 times as many pictures of her, and most of mine are of both of us. She would always get a lot of attention from everyone, and I got none. Parents spend much more money on her too. Say if I wanted to spend $100 on clothes, $80 goes to her and $20 to me. Their reasoning has always been that she's more beautiful and it's worth spending more on her as she gets a lot more attention, while nobody looks at me anyway, so why bother with better clothes? They have literally told me that many times. I was in a sports team, they never once came to see me playing, while they go to see my sister cheerleading every week. Extend this to everything, and you know the story of my life. I hated every second of my childhood. I hated my sister. Yes, I know none of this is actually her fault. I worked on myself with a therapist, so I no longer feel any hate or blame towards her. Since I was 15, I was counting the days until I become 18 and can leave and never come back. And that's what I did. That's the age where you can leave home without parent consent where we live. I left home the day after my 18th birthday. The night before, parents threw a birthday party for us. Well, for her. Their gift for her was a $1,000 gift card from a luxury designer brand. For me, a $100 gift card for a bookstore, arguing that this $100 gives me the same level of ability to buy the things I like, books, as that $1,000 would to her, expensive clothes. Okay, their logic. They knew I was thinking of leaving, but had no idea that I wanted out ASAP. I left that day. They asked me to stay and allow them to help out. But I was like, I had enough of you, leave me alone. I never made any contact with them after that. As soon as I was able to move to another city, to get even as further away as I hated the city too. They called and texted me for a while, but I never answered or replied and changed my number eventually. I had also removed them from all my social media. I set it so that if they send me any emails, it would automatically get deleted, and a reply, automatically deleted, do not waste your time, to be sent. That's the current status of things on my side. 2 days ago, my dad sent me a message on Facebook. My initial instinct was to delete it, but I opened it and started reading. This was the first message in months from them. He explained that he understands that they were not good parents and they did a lot of wrong, but maybe we can start over. He asked if I can come over for dinner at some point, so all of us can get to know each other better. I haven't responded. I don't know if I should give them another chance, or just delete this message and don't look back. Too long, didn't read. Parents treated me much worse than my twin sister because she was and is more beautiful. I left right after my 18th birthday and ceased all contacts. Now they want a new beginning after 3 years. And now to the second story of the day, plus an update. Second story. My stepdad, in reference to my husband, male 37, and I, female 25. Where is his pig and his dumb little naughty girl? 4 years together. First, English is not my first language. I am fluent, but I don't completely understand the double meanings and how to imply them here. I tried to translate it as best I could, but the word pig does not mean a literal pig. In the context it was used, I think what my stepdad meant was bourgeois or capitalist pig. and used it as a double entendre in reference to body fat. My stepdad has been with my mother for 5 years now. I was an adult before they met. We are not that close but have a cordial relationship, or so I thought. My husband and myself was invited to a small impromptu dinner party. My husband was sick, so I initially made our apologies. But after he encouraged me to go, even though what I truly wanted was to play a nurse for him. These dinner parties happen with regularity, and my husband is far more important anyway. However, he encouraged me and said it would be good for me to go, so I did. I arrive a little late and don't immediately announce my presence. I stand in the entryway arranging myself and overhear the talk from the dinner table. I hear my husband's name mentioned. This was rude, but I'm curious what is going to be said while they think I'm not listening. So I take my time next to the door. The question of our absence was casually directed to our mother, and my stepdad cuts in with the line in the title. He said exactly, "Yes, where is the pig and his dumb little naughty girl?" There were some chuckles, and my mother answers, "Your son-in-law is sick," in a mild, chastising tone. She turned the topic to something else. I decided to leave. I nearly cried in the back of the car, but stayed composed until I got home. My mother's reaction was most hurtful. I would have expected a far harsher reaction than she gave. This suggests to me that this happens with some regularity. My mother doesn't defend me when I'm called a dumb little naughty girl. She doesn't defend my husband when he's called a pig. She acts as if someone made an inappropriate noise at the dinner table. Should I tell my husband? I'm a little afraid of his subsequent actions if I do. He has helped specific family members that were not at the dinner party and could take that all away on a whim. I need to tell him, but I don't want him to punish people that weren't at the party. My husband would be very angry at them, but I need to tell him. Then there is my relationship with my family. I have been trying to think how this could mean something else. I've been trying to twist it into a term of endearment, and I can't. This was cruel. I felt used by those who I love most. They hid their feelings while we were around. #too long didn't read. My stepdad called my husband and myself by the quoted sentence at the title. I'm trying to decide how to tell my husband. I'm trying to think how this could not, but what it looks like. A situation where my family is being unbelievably cruel behind my back. #update. I told my husband about this earlier this morning. I did it carefully, making sure to tell him that I didn't know exactly who was there other than a few names, and ensuring that he knew a few specific people were definitely not there. My husband is a very deliberative person. He sat and listened to everything I had to say without showing any emotion. It's hard to talk to him sometimes about difficult things because of this, but I've got through it. He asked me a few questions, making sure that I was completely sure on every detail. Then he told me to fetch his phone, and I did. He made several calls. He called various people, and over the next 30 minutes, 3 of my family members lost their jobs. 2 lost their apartments, or will be losing them as soon as the law allows. He only punished people who were guaranteed to be at the dinner party, or directly related to those who were, though. He did not punish my big sister, who I was worried about the most, and people couldn't have been involved. Afterwards, he told me that he would not tell me to cut contact with my family, but that he will not be seeing them until we receive a written apology from everyone who was at the party. He said I can handle my family as I like. I thanked him and told him that I would not be seeing them either until this happened. Whilst I was helping my husband dress for work, my mother called, but my husband waved it off and told me to keep her waiting, because she will call again. He said I don't owe her promptness, and keeping her waiting shows that I have the power. She called many times in succession afterwards, but I only answered after my husband was dressed and I had seen him to the car. She told me in a frantic voice that person A had lost his job and wondered what happened, or if there was anything my husband could do. I'm glad my husband made me wait because I had a formulated response. I told her that my husband had person A, B, and C fired. I didn't tell her why. She went silent for a bit and finally asked me why in an odd tone. I just told her that I heard what my stepdad said at the party. I told her that my husband and I expect written apologies from everyone at the dinner party. A long silence followed. So long that I nearly hung up, but my mother did it first. This was a confusing reaction. I think she was too ashamed to speak, but it could also be that she doesn't care. I will wait. The need to reach out to us with an apology if they are interested in continuing our family ties. I thought this was going to be harder and feel worse than it does. I am at peace about this. Hashtag too long didn't read. My husband took duteous actions after I told him. My mother called me and I asked for apologies from all at the party. She hung up, either too ashamed to speak or signaling that she doesn't care about me. Hashtag third story. AITA. Am I the a-hole for not paying up and for not giving up to my brother's tantrums? Posted in my side account because I know for a fact sister-in-law reads stuff on the sub. I, female 29, recently bought a house and a brand new car. I will admit I probably splurge on my house more than I should, but growing up very poor, it has always been a dream of mine to live in a nice house. I worked really hard to be where I am. So much so that I undergo countless breakups because I always choose career over boys. My brother, male 25, is currently jobless. He worked as a tourist guide before and can barely make ends meet. He has 5 kids now and counting as his wife announced pregnancy recently. He messaged me on Facebook that there is something he wants to talk about, and I thought he wants to name me godmother to his oncoming baby. I said sure and invited him to the house to get his approval about some things I modified for our parents. I gave him a tour and he admired my house greatly, saying things like how excited he is to bring the kids to my house. I did not mind anything about it as I thought he meant a visit, which I'm more than happy to host them for. Imagine my surprise when he finally sat me down and finally revealed what he wants to talk about. He wants me to give him my house. I clarified whether he meant this house or the other house I bought for my parents, which I still lived in. Still has modifications ongoing with my dream house. He said the house is big enough for his family and I can go visit them anytime I like. He even offered that if I really wanted to live there, I can go into the maid's room and modify it for my personal use. I was shocked. I could not speak as he thanked me over and over for the house. I finally asked him where the heck did that idea come from and said our mother told him I will give him my house. I of course corrected that, and this is where things go south. My brother repeatedly said since our mom said the house is his now, I could not do anything but give in. I called my mother to tell him to duck off, and lo and behold, my mother sided with my brother. To make this long story short, my whole family had cut me off and parents disowned me until I gave my brother my house. My father has been brought to the hospital over this fight and now I feel really bad. The guy I'm seeing now just said to give the house to my brother and he'll help me buy another. Reddit. AITA here. #edit. To clarify, the house that they gave away is a newly bought one. One I thought where I could raise 5 adorable fur babies. Family home is in my name too, as I have to take out a loan back then to buy it. So yeah, it may be obvious that I'm not the asshole at first sight, but I feel like I could be one because my family got hospitalized over the ensuing fight for the house. #edit2. I'm trying to read all comments and I'm just so overwhelmed with your support. I'm temporarily staying at a friend's house ever since. Your encouraging words really help ease my mood. I finally decided not to give this house and sell the other one to help pay for a vast majority of loan on my dream house. I also decided to remove my parents' access to my health plans and remove them on my insurance. Last but not the least, thank you for the award, kind strangers. Reading your comments made me realize how ridiculously unreal this sounds. This user actually made an update 8 months later about the situation. #update. Hello. So a lot of people have reached out to me since my original post. A lot has happened since then. I'll try to include as much detail as I can. So I cut my family off back in December and removed them in all services that'll benefit them being connected to me. Since I figured, hey mom, you told me I'm dead to you, then you get no free house from me anymore. So the reactions from our extended family were just as I expected. Most of the adults sided with my mother. My cousins expressed their support to me. I got uninvited from the family reunion I initially sponsored, and isn't that just the worst? My aunts and uncle have barricaded the gate when I arrived at my granny's house. I won't expand on this anymore because this still hurts until now. My mother also sued me for selling the first house back in January. It did not reach the higher courts and I won. Public perception of me got worse though. She and my brother took this defeat to twist the sympathy in their favor. They posted on social media about how I am an ungrateful daughter and I owe them for everything I have. They also blame me for my father's death. Yes, he died. I did not even get to attend the funeral because I'm banned. When this happened, I almost gave in and signed the papers to give the house to my brother. I blame myself and believe them my selfishness killed my father. At this point, my boyfriend convinced me to take a break from work and talk to a professional. I did just that, and I'm only now just realizing how ducked up the way they raised me. I can't believe it took internet strangers to realize something is wrong with how they treated me. To be honest, I almost decided not to post an update. It was last month when my therapist suggested I should do it, because this is where me breaking off from them started. On the bright side, I saw how my fiance's family really liked me because of this ordeal. I thought they were just being nice, but shit happened and they supported me every step of the way, especially when my partner had to go overseas for 1 week stay because of his job. They really took care of me and even assured me that I'm worth more than my family thinks I am. The nicest thing I ever heard in my life came from his mother. Anyway, last July 21st, my father's birthday, Mother reached out to me. She explained to me that she understood she had no right banning me from his funeral, but at that time, all she could think of is how I cut them off my health plans and I rendered them incapable for supporting my father's hospitalization. I did not realize this and cried for hours. She said she still blames me though, and doesn't think she can forgive me. I think I understand her. My therapist told me that thinking of what ifs is counterproductive. But still, if I could go back in time, I'll help them with this. My brother won't talk to me. That's fine. The feeling is very much mutual. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you make out of these situations. Did you learn something? Which story stuck to you the most?